The 239 Unified School District 239 show, and today with me is Jackson Metzler. Jackson, welcome to the show.
Hello, it's a pleasure being here.
Well, I'll tell you, we've got a good show for you this week, folks. It's really kind of exciting for me to get an opportunity to talk to Jackson because he was on an extremely popular TV show here not too long ago on Lifetime called Project Runway Junior. And starting off, first off, you were going to be a chef. When did that all go down the tank? How old were you when that was over?
It was being a chef as a dream job was kind of down the tank when I was about 8 or 9.
8 or 9.
Yeah, 8 or 9.
And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, you said you started watching Project Runway in 2009. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you got hooked on that show.
I did.
And then it turned into a career opportunity for you, right?
Yes, it did.
And then how did you get started sewing? How'd that all start?
I started sewing with my grandmother because I had the genius idea to make everyone pajama pants for Christmas one year.
Absolutely.
Just out of the blue.
Sure.
And so she taught me some basic kind of sewing skills, and then after that, I then took lessons from a woman in Salina through the 4-H, and then after that, I then kind of started on my own kind of design-wise and turning designs into actual garments. And then
How old were you when you started doing that?
I was a freshman in high school when I started doing that, so
Gee.
just a couple years ago.
Just right on your own, you said, you know, I'm going to take this a step further and start designing things.
Yes.
Your freshman year. Then after that, how did this Project Runway thing get started to begin with? I mean,
well, last year they had Project Runway Threads, which was where they brought in 3 designers, like adolescents to teenagers, designers, every week, and so they would have a challenge, and so every episode was 3 different designers, and so they liked the idea of having younger kids on there, but they didn't like the idea of having just 3 new people every week, so they wanted to have it more of the original Project Runway, and so I wanted to be on Threads because I thought they were going to redo that.
Right.
But then I got an email, and they said that they would like to turn my application into for Project Runway Junior, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah, why not?
And so that started in December of last year.
Okay.
And then through that, I had a lot of questions to fill out, Skype interviews, and then that went clear into May, and then I went to LA and had a one-on-one kind of interview with a panel of judges that weren't the actual panel of judges on the show. And then from that got narrowed down to 50 people. So 50 people went to one-on-one interviews. And then after that, they narrowed it down to the final 12.
Now, do you have any idea how many young adults applied for that show at all?
I remember correctly, I think it was roughly around 750 to 850.
That is incredible. And then they narrowed it down to 12, right? Okay, now out of those 12, we were talking earlier before we started filming that you were the only actual public school student. There was a homeschool student. Where did some of the other contestants come from as far as their background in education?
There was one kid went to private school, but it was a private art school. And a lot of them went to art schools, and then a couple went to just public school, but their schools had like fashion classes. And then there was the one homeschooled designer, and then there was me who just had public school, and there was no fashion classes offered through those public schools.
How do you think, out of that 700 plus students, that you got picked? Did they ever discuss that with you?
They never discussed on how I got picked besides that through my designs. I think it was a little bit of both between my designs and kind of just my character in general.
Absolutely. The more personality you have, the better chance you're going to have of people watching it every week and rooting for you and hoping that you get to go further. While we're talking about the fashion industry, you you designed, and I think this is unique, and I don't know that it had anything to do with the show, but you designed a dress using VHS tape.
Yeah.
I've seen it on the website, and it looks beautiful, but how did you come up with something like that?
I honestly don't know how I came up with it. It just randomly popped into my head. I kind of thought I want to just use some recyclable material to make something out of,
Okay.
and then I'm like, oh, VHS tape.
Why not?
Yeah.
It sounds like a common thing to use in design. Absolutely. Well, how did you come up with the designs for the show? I mean, how much time did they give you to come up with them?
On the show, we were given 1 day, which 1 day equals 10 hours in film. So we had a total of 10 hours to create the design from scratch, and then we had an hour the next day for just getting final touches, and then for the runway.
That seems almost impossible. Now they had a concept for each show too, as far as the design, right?
They had like they gave us a challenge, and so that challenge revolved around a certain theme.
Mm-hmm. How far did you make it?
I made it 2 episodes before the finale. So there was the finale, and then the episode before the finale, and then the episode before that, and that's how far I made it.
Close.
I was close, yes.
Really close. I noticed too when the judges were critiquing your work, they always complimented something, but then they also were very critical about certain areas. Did some of the people take it almost too seriously, or you know, I mean, that's tough.
Yeah. Sometimes we'd kind of listen to the judges' critiques, since they are kind of the ones that are choosing our fate, basically, besides our own design.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, we'd be like, we need to stick to our kind of design aesthetic that we're used to. So we would kind of do a balance between.
So you'd work that 10 hours just as hard as you can, and then you had an hour the next day just to do finishing touches. I just don't know how you did it. I mean, that had to be extremely stressful, but it worked.
Yep.
I mean, obviously. So the show wrapped up. When was the finale?
The finale was filmed over Fashion Week, because their finale was during Fashion Week, which was in September. Okay. But the actual finale aired February 4th.
And you couldn't tell anybody how it ended. Well, you didn't know.
I didn't know how it ended.
You didn't know it ended until you actually saw it on TV. Where do you go from here?
I'm planning on going to the Savannah College of Art and Design down in Savannah, Georgia, and major in fashion design and minor in costume design.
And you're a junior this year?
Yes, I'm a junior this year.
So you'll just continue working on your projects?
Yep.
And, to get into that school, is there a portfolio you need, or is
there's
a recommendation, or how do you get in?
You have to have some recommendations, and then also a portfolio that you give them, and then based on that portfolio, they decide if you're allowed to go and admitted into the school.
Well, thank you so much. It's just been a joy interviewing you. I don't meet very many stars in my work, so God, it'll be a story you can tell for the rest of your life.
Yes.
And thank you so much for being with us.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
We are committed to delivering the most reliable service and original, creative programming and better quality choices.
To not just meet, but exceed your expectations so you can choose your own entertainment when, where, and how you want it, anywhere and anytime.
With individual plans that allow you to pick your services and have access to customer service 7 days a week.
Because you deserve the best value in entertainment, and it's our job to deliver it. No exceptions, no excuses.
We are Eagle Communications.
We're back with the USD 239 show with Superintendent Chris Veneri. And Chris, as we all know in politics, things change. And it used to be year to year, but now it could be week to week, it could be month to month, and one never knows exactly what the legislature and the governor is going to have coming down the trail. So fill me in on the latest and greatest information from Topeka.
Oh, I'd be happy to. You are correct. We don't anymore. We don't know if we're going to be cut here in April. Yeah. You know, with 3 months to spare, how to adjust our budgets, because that's still a possibility. And I think
hard to believe.
It is. And there was a study done by Alvarez and Marcel. It's a legislative post-audit, an audit that our people in Topeka put together to see how can the state of Kansas save money in education.
Right.
And a couple of the things that they suggested, one of them, which is very important to our school and to, well, schools across the state, is that with cash balances, money that's left over at the end of the year that you stick in different budgets, which I will show you an example of here in a second,
okay,
should not exceed 15%. And when they were including these budgets, they were not including your capital outlay budget, which your capital outlay is a separate budget that is for building projects, school buses, even technology, maintenance of your buildings. Mm-hmm. And so that was excluded in the report, as well as your bond and interest budget.
And you're coming under budget, so that doesn't help you out on your capital improvement then, does it?
Well, yeah, correct. So with the survey, what they recommended, once again, capital outlay should not be included, your bond and interest budget should not be included, your gifts and grants should not be included. So out of those budgets, we should not include those because a lot of schools do have high cash balance in there for upcoming projects. Mm-hmm. But what our legislators did, they put out a bill, Senate Bill 505, including those. Okay, they included those budgets into their bill, which is horrible actually. For us, for example, if you look at my screen here, if we take a look here, I can show you that Senate Bill 505, basically what it says is it's looking at our cash balances for July 1, 2014.
Right.
And in yellow, I have the capital outlay, gifts and grants, and the bonds and interest.
Correct.
Okay, so with those included, we have a total of $2,566,000 in our cash carryover.
Right.
Which puts us at 33%. And remember, they said that our cash carryover shouldn't be more than 15%. So if we use Senate Bill 505, we're 18% too much of cash carryover. And what the bill ends up saying, though, here's the kicker. The bill says this: you'll take that amount that you're over 15%, you'll divide it up by 5, and then for the next 5 years, the state will deduct that amount from your general fund money, from the money that they're going to give you. And so for us, that's $279,000 per year out of our general fund, which would bankrupt us within 3 years.
Yep.
So it's not a good bill. I don't see that passing. They may go ahead and hopefully they rewrite it. If they're going to do it at all, hopefully they do it the way that Alvarez and Marcel presented. Mm-hmm. Keep out those three big budgets.
You bet.
And the reason why those need to be kept out is because they're not operating dollars. No. They're not dollars that you can pay salary on. They're not dollars that you're going to be spending.
No, they're sitting there.
That's right. They're for improvements.
Right.
They're for the needed things. You have a boiler go out. You need $20,000 boiler. You have to have that money on hand.
You bet.
And those things do happen in schools.
Sure. They happen everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. So the 2014, if you pull those three out, then we are only looking at $75,000 above. So then for the next 5 years, instead of $279,000, we would get $15,000 deducted from our general fund, which is a lot more manageable.
Oh, sure.
But the problem there, here's the big problem there, is that was July 1, 2014 is what the bill said.
Right.
We've already had July 1, 2015. We're under 15% July 1, 2015. So we're going to be penalized $15,000 even though we come under 15% of cash carryover. So the bill doesn't make sense. That's one bill. The second thing in Topeka that's alarming is this. Senate Bill 499, basically the legislators want your fuel, electricity, food, information technology, software purchases, and maintenance and repairs to all come from a pool in Topeka. Instead of using local people to take care of our food, our repairs, they want it to come from, they think we can have cheaper costs. That may be the case, but what does that do for a small community?
Kills it.
Absolutely. So I guess my goal here today is to say what we have going on in Topeka is, they're trying, I believe, they're trying to kill public schools. I'll just say it.
Yeah.
We have a lot of good things going in public schools, a lot of good things going here at Minneapolis. But it's going to be difficult if these things go through.
Well, the economic growth, I come from a small town, and a large portion, which obviously I cannot put a percent on, but a large portion of economic stability, not necessarily growth, comes from their school system. Because when they closed the school in my small community, for all intents purposes, that community died. Now, you have some industry and some things that maybe would support the community as an economic value, but the school is a tremendous way of keeping the money in town and keeping those dollars rolling in Minneapolis, Kansas. There's just nothing around that. I mean, it's critical to small communities. It really is.
Oh, absolutely. And just to finish this up, to follow up, Senator Bowers, our elected official, she's not for these two bills. Okay, I can say that, but I think a phone call to her, just encouraging her to say no to Senate Bill 505, to say no to Senate Bill 499.
Needs to be done.
Be done. And then we have somebody in Salina, Senator Arpke, who is on this Ways and Means Committee.
Yeah, I knew he was.
And, he's local, as far as I'm concerned. He's not our senator, but he's just 20 miles up the road.
Right.
We do business with Salina.
You bet.
Majority, of course, our business is done here, but we still have businesses there. And he'd be a good one to get in contact with as well.
So is there anything else that we need to cover today? Anything else that's coming up at Minneapolis High School?
Well, I didn't give you much good news there. But,
that's all right. It might not happen the way you say.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping that it doesn't happen. I think they're going to receive enough pressure on this that it probably won't happen. But I do think it's important that the people understand what kind of decisions are going on right now in Topeka.
Exactly.
On April 22nd and 23rd, we do have our spring play, so people need to come out and watch that.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. We've been talking to Chris Veneri, Superintendent of Schools, Unified School District 239. And that's our program for today. Thank you for watching. If you see it, you like it, tell people about it. It's on Access Channel 2, and enjoy your day.